My name is Jalil, Kizy.
Do people call you Jay?
Most people call me Jay, yeah. It's a lot easier to pronounce than Jalil.
What day of fasting are you on?
Today is day 37.
Of water only.
Water only. I did the last few days. I have been on broth. The doctors were concerned about my sodium levels, so I've been drinking broth, and but it's a vegetable broth, obviously, as you would know. And yeah, so I mean, I guess it's been helping with my sodium levels. I felt fine either way, with or without it, but they said do it, so I follow the rules. Yeah.
And the broth doesn't break you out of the fast, does it?
Technically, it does not break you out of a fast.
And how have you felt during the fast?
I mean, truth be told, I've been feeling, and I don't know if I'm a typical result or what, but I've been feeling actually better now than I did when I got here. I've had more energy, like really, like ready to go. Like I kind of wish I could go work out, but obviously I know that that's not good while fasting. But yeah, I feel great, full of energy. And you know, I actually feel like, I mean, inflammation went down, right? So like pain in my knee, gone, you know, certain other joints, all gone. Just so many other factors that I feel overall better than even when I first got here. So you would think 37 days without food, I would be exhausted, starving, like
On the ground.
give me everything. But no, it's the opposite, and it's definitely been a learning experience, a very spiritual experience for me. What the body can do is amazing, and you know, keeping close to God is also very amazing. I pray every day, and you know, He's been guiding me through it. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what did you come here to resolve?
I had multiple issues, mainly issues that are commonly known as diseases of Kings. Diseases all related to obesity or morbid obesity, so high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and you know, a few other things as well, and of course weight loss. I've already achieved within the first 25-ish days, I've achieved the lowered blood pressure. And
You specifically, do you know how low?
I was like it was high. It was like 160 over 110 when I got here. And then now it's like it was like 113 over 79, which is probably one of the best blood pressures I've ever had. My diabetes is pretty much, I mean, obviously I'll have to wait for my A1C results when I get back home, but I mean, it's pretty much gone. I've been testing really low every day. I mean, I can't really get too high if you're not eating, right? But you know, that's a good thing. And then I'm down 50 pounds. Like as of right now, I'm down 50 pounds. So it's and I have obviously 3 more days of fasting left to go, and then the refeed, which I anticipate probably losing at least another 5, maybe 10 pounds before I leave. So I mean, as of right now, all of my goals have been achieved of coming here. And again, the energy and the pain gone. That in and of itself was worth the trip. You know, I just, you know, I'm ready to go. I want to go for, like I said, a run or a walk. I've never thought in my mind like, oh, let me go for a run. I'm like, I've been above 400 pounds most of my life, so I never ever thought about running, and I actually want to go for a run. So it's kind of crazy.
You said as an 8th grader, right? You were.
Yeah, I was above like 300 and something pounds when I was in like middle school. I was always big since I could remember. Always loved food. My mom made some really good food growing up. You know, of course, growing up in a Middle Eastern household, we had all the, you know, the home baked goods and all that stuff. And yeah, it was always, you know, I had an older brother, 2 older sisters, and I was the youngest, and there was no shortage of food around. And anytime anybody wanted to do anything or go out to eat, they'd always be like, hey, you bored? Let's go. And I was, you know, the tag along, and it was fun. So we growing up, I was always big, and but my family in general, we're all big, right? So my dad was really big. He was known for being big. My grandfather was big, known for being big. Most of the people in, you know, both sides of my family are all really big, but they all also struggle with you know, all of the same issues, you know, diabetes, blood pressure, etc. And you know, just that gamut of other things.
Do you think it's just genetic?
So according to what I'm learning more and more, Yes, but in a good way. So Dr. Goldhammer explains it as we have what's known as winner genes, right? And I love that explanation because it makes a lot of sense. Because of our ability to store the the fats and all these things as fuel, that allows us to go through times of famine and go through times of need, when there's low shortage of food supply, etc. But because of the society that we live in today, if you're constantly storing, you have no time or to burn it, and no matter how much you work out, you can't really burn. If you're 300 pounds by the time you're in middle school, like there's no way you're gonna burn like that. Like it doesn't matter how much you work out. So yeah, and actually I don't really blame genetics. I love the fact that it was explained to me in that way. Like, oh, you're actually winner genes, so you come from a long lineage of winners, like people who have survived throughout this. And what that means to me is that I just have to try that much harder to stay a winner. And I like that a lot. Yeah.
Can you share about your dad?
Yeah, my dad was like a role model to me, but he was always big. All the stories, everybody would boast about how much he was helping everybody, this and that, but then also all the stories of how much he would eat and, like this and that. And it was always told in a jovial manner, like, oh, this guy could eat a whole pot of dolma, which is grape leaves, or something like that, but I mean, my dad died at a very young age, right? 58. So luckily, my dad was able to kind of raise my brother, my sisters, and myself all in a really, really good way, and kind of give us all good heads on our shoulders. But yeah, he left us all really early. I was 24 when he passed, and even though I was still an adult, I felt like that was too young.
And how did he pass? What did he pass from?
He had a heart attack that we know of, but he was, again, morbidly obese most of his life as well, at least ever since I've known him, and he had the gamut of issues. Again, similar, the gout, the heart disease, the diabetes, and all of that stuff, and he was just getting weaker and weaker as time went on, and then eventually he had a heart attack and died. I mean, he had multiple heart attacks when I was growing up, and we had thought, after that point, he himself admitted that he was on borrowed time. And every year after that, he kind of was like, very thankful, and we were all thankful to have him. But yeah, it was very apparent that health and those things weren't necessarily given as much as attention as they might have been needed. Yeah. Honestly, living today and actually going through this has been a really big wake-up call for me, and it's like I've been thinking about him a lot, and my family, my brother, and all that stuff, and I worry about them as well as what they might have to go through eventually. So I'm just trying to do what I can to stay alive, to kind of be there for them, and if I can be that example that maybe kind of leads a different path in our family, that would be great, right? Like again, my grandpa died at 48. My dad died at 58, and I'm trying to break that trend. I'm trying to have a really long life, and one day hopefully find a wife, have a great family, and just continue going, right? Continue spreading on those winner genes.
You're a winner. I was gonna say you're a winner.
And yeah, so I mean, my mom's grandpa was relatively healthy. He lived until 90, I think 90. I want to say 92. Whoa. I could be off by a year or so, but yeah, he was relatively healthy. But he ended up getting diabetes once he came to America. As crazy as that sounds, I mean, that doesn't actually sound crazy when
That's pretty typical.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. Yeah. But like before coming to America, he was really, really healthy. Then coming to America, he ended up getting diabetes and some other things. Yeah.
Before coming here to fast, you had already gone plant-based, correct?
No, not necessarily.
Vegan junk food kind of.
No. I before coming here, I actually had been vegan before, but then after having my gallbladder removed, and then after the meal at the hospital, I went vegan for about 6 months. This was after my dad passed away in 2012. And I also was hitting 2-a-days at the gym and doing, all kinds of crazy workouts and stuff like that. So I was like doing absolutely everything right, textbook, even the doctors were like, oh, wow, you did everything right. It sucks that your body, is going through this, but, what you didn't know is you could lose too much weight too quickly. And so what happened was I started having gallstone attacks, and then I found myself in the ER. And in the ER, I asked them what my options were, and of course, their only option was surgery. And so I thought that I was either gonna have surgery or die. That was essentially the way it was, proposed to me. So I had surgery to have my gallbladder removed, and my immediate meal, the heart-healthy meal in the hospital, was chicken fingers and mashed potatoes and gravy. And literally immediately that moment and after then, because I was, again, living a pretty healthy lifestyle, lost over 150 pounds in 6 months.
150?
Yes, in 6 months, and give or take a few days.
Were you eating plant-based at the time?
I was eating plant-based at the time, but I was going to the gym again, 2-a-days, stuff like that. And then immediately after the chicken fingers, I just started craving meat like you wouldn't believe. And I pretty much lost that whole plant-based lifestyle. I tried to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into my meals, but eventually I just fell off into old bad habits. And then, so that was, like I said, that was 2012-ish, 2011, 2012, after my dad passed away. Then, up and down with yo-yo dieting and all these other things. And I eventually found myself back to above 400 pounds. And then in a somewhat toxic work environment with a commute of over an hour and 20 minutes each way. And so I was pretty much living off of fast food and in my car. And I started seeking therapy for food addiction. And eventually I ended up leaving that job and got a job substantially closer, and working on eating right with my therapist and stuff like that. Through that journey, I found a book called The Obesity Code by Dr. Fung. It's a really, really good book. That
Dr.
eventually,
Jason Fung.
Yeah, Dr. Jason Fung. Really good book. It explained a lot to me. I had explored fasting before, but never to that degree. I was like, wow. And then I started fasting, and I lost about 100 pounds before coming here.
In what time frame?
About a year-ish, year and a half, just through intermittent fasting and kind of, figuring out my triggers with my, working on them myself, therapist, all kinds of stuff, prayer, spiritual direction, all that. Throughout all that, lost about 100 pounds before coming here. Also within that journey, I read The Pleasure Trap. The Pleasure Trap, also very, very, in my opinion, very good book on how and why we're essentially set up to fail, because our genetics are set up to succeed, right? But with the modern, diet that we have, and companies that are literally paid to get you addicted, things like MSG and all these other, and just salt in itself, salt, oil, and sugar, those SOS things are very, very highly addictive. So when you consider all of those factors, the fasting made absolute sense to me. And then after, reading those two books in particular, amongst so many others, but those two books in particular, I found myself going down the YouTube rabbit hole, finding Dr. Goldhammer and finding this place. And I was just like, you know what, it's time. I've been doing this much success, or I've been having this much success through intermittent fasting on my own. I had gotten up to approximately 90 hours on my own without actually having medically supervised. But each time I had gotten to that point, I decided to stop, because I was like, maybe I should stop or whatever. Or of course, cravings get to you. But in a controlled environment like this, the 40-day fast seems like it's gone by like lickety-split. Like seriously, it's day 37 and I feel like I just got here, But yeah, after finding out, as a matter of fact, when the day Dr. Goldhammer called me, I was at my uncle's funeral. So that was kind of like, are you gonna live or are you gonna, So it's just one of those things where you don't want to continue down this path. And again, my uncle, he was, he had cancer, smoked a lot of his life. I used to be a smoker as well. So, you know, a lot of these things, they kind of resonate with me, you know, and it was just, to me, it was almost too coincidental that he called on that day and said, hey, we have you here. Do you have a moment to, you know, we have your information here. Do you have a moment to go over it and see if you're a, you know, a good candidate for fasting, etc. And I was like, yeah, let me just step away from it a minute. And so I stepped away and, you know, we had the call and it was just like, the whole time I'm like, is this some kind of weird like message, sign? Like I have to do this. And so from that point on, I was absolutely committed, you know, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, your story is just incredible. And during your fast right now, it sounds like it was just a piece of cake for you. But
It wasn't
right.
absolutely a piece of cake.
Right.
So I will say this, there's lots of people here that did help me get through it. There's a great support system. I mean, for example, you see right now, you see Dave walking around with bananas. There's a kitchen full of food. Hey, Dave, you know what I'm saying? So like there's temptation, right? There is food available to you, right? I can cheat if I want, but I'm not cheating the system. I'm not cheating anything but myself. And I came here committed for a reason, right? Also, so the support system is a big deal. Having that committed mindset is a very big deal. But it wasn't like, for example, some of the things that I didn't understand at first, but now it makes absolute sense. The sense of smell. I had an extremely heightened sense of smell on my first few days of fasting, and it's still here and there a little bit as time has went on, and actually as I've been on the broth, my sense of smell has kind of not fully normalized, but kind of went back down. But apparently what that is that's our actual, and this is pretty interesting, that's our normal hunter instinct, right? As you get those adrenaline rushes of like, okay, well now your body's looking for food or this or that. Now it's like, okay, we're naturally able to get this heightened sense of smell. Some people get a heightened sense of hearing. Some people get, you know, different heightened sense of eyesight or whatever it may be. So, and that's so that way our bodies can naturally detect food or good food, etc. So when we are in times of famine, we can find it. So those are pretty cool things. But as far as like physically, like any weakness or anything, I haven't had any of that. I know that I don't want to make it sound like a piece of cake because I have seen quite a few people struggle, you know, but you know, I don't know exactly what it has to do with, maybe because I had a lot to lose while being here, no idea. But I've also heard that there's, you know, people who were, you know, substantially more fit or skinnier than I am, and they were able to sustain a 40-day fast as well. So who knows? You know, I can't put my finger on it exactly, but again, I just have nothing but, you know, nothing but good things to say.
That's beautiful. And by heightened sense of smell, you could smell people walking.
Yeah, so it was weird. It was like, okay, so almost like the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like you ever seen Commando when he was telling the guy about the downwind, and the guy was like, you expect me to smell him? And he was like, I did. And of course, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? I could literally smell people before they walked into our our common room. I could smell somebody coming.
When you were in your room with the door shut?
Yes, in my room with the door shut, I could smell people coming up the stairs. It was very weird, and it was actually like I had almost considered quitting at that point because the smell was that strong. Thankfully, they have a solution for it. I asked like, what am I gonna do, because like I'm legit about to leave, and they gave me these oils, right? So they gave me like peppermint oil for the daytime, and every time I would get a really strong sniff of something, I would just smell the peppermint. Yeah, cotton ball, exactly. I'll smell the peppermint oil and I feel much better. And at nighttime they had the lavender oil, which helps you sleep, etc. So that was able to resolve that issue. But other than that, I mean, I really have had nothing that I can think of. Like, again, most of my pain has gone away, especially joint pains, etc. The lectures and seminars that they have here they're just great. You're obviously a great instructor as well. You have lots of great input and insights onto, you know, your experiences here as well as, you know, your life experiences. So yeah, I've learned a lot, and this experience will probably be one that I, you know, even if I wanted to, I couldn't forget. But I don't want to forget it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of what Jay looked like the day he arrived at True North.
Before we filmed this interview, on day 37 of his 40-day water fast, Jay was walking around completely normally and even helping us move chairs. Jay finished his 40-day water fast while still bursting with more energy than he'd ever experienced before. I caught up with Jay at True North during his refeeding period. We had dinner. Here's a photo of what he was eating. All whole plant food that's salt, oil, and sugar-free. Up next is our follow-up interview with Jay. Let's find out how he's doing. Hello, Jay.
Hey there.
We just had dinner together.
We did.
AKA, you started eating again after 40 days of not eating?
Yes. So it was 40 days of not eating, or water only. I did have a few days of broth because of my sodium levels, but that went really, really well. And then I kind of, in a way, I actually did a 44-day fast because I did 4 days of juice because of the refeed process. So, and then 4 days of fruits and vegetables only. Then they add steamed to that. That was raw fruits and vegetables the first, and then they add steamed to that. And then now, then they go to, you're allowed to eat grain as well as everything previously. And then now I'm on unrestricted, which is up to and including legumes, and pretty much unrestricted is unrestricted. So yeah, it's good, and I've had a great experience, and it's been very fruitful. I've learned a lot about myself, about willpower, and spiritually it's been very, very motivating to know that I can achieve. I prayed a lot while being here, so that I think helped keep me going and keep me positive about the whole experience. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did it feel on day 40? Did you feel any different in terms of energy?
No, so again, I don't want to say this is going to happen for everyone, but I maybe a rare scenario. I was more energetic even on day 40 than before coming here. But I also was somewhat relatively toxic as far as my eating habits and just my lifestyle before coming here. So, even though I intermittent fasted, people who fast in general, intermittent fasting and all that, that you're running on fuel because it's unnaturally you're performing better than, and I found myself still having to go on walks, pretty decent length walks, in order to even have the will to fall asleep. So yeah, I just feel blessed to completely go through this with very, very mild, if any, side effects. We talked about a sense of scent change. I maybe forgot to mention the thing that happens to your tongue with all the bacteria buildup.
It was like something crawled in there and died.
It really, yeah. So the taste buds and all that kind of refreshing or whatever, kind of rebirthing. So yeah, those were probably but again, inflammation gone. My legs, I haven't walked this much in my life, let alone in weeks, amount of time. I told you in there, I bought a bike because I was so restless that I wanted to just get into, the city. And, it's been over 10 years since I've been able to ride a bike. I've ridden a bike almost every day since buying it, literally. And I'm going not short distances either. I'm going a few miles here and there, got a helmet too. Because you got to be safe. Goldhammer doesn't want me to mess up the digits, the numbers.
We're watching you, okay? Not until you leave can you get off the helmet.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I get it. This is unfortunately not groundbreaking stuff. This is some of the basics, but the world forgot about it. And this is it's so beautiful though. I just like I was telling you, I want to scream at the top of a mountain, fasting, it's possible. And obviously, so many others before me have been proof, and I'm sure there'll be so many others after. But for at least the people that I know, hopefully I can be that proof for them. Yeah.
And you said you even walked 17,000 steps in one day.
I did, actually. Yeah, there was some days where I was just pretty crazy. Not crazy in a bad way, but I had so much energy pent up inside that I was just I got to do something with it, That was during early stages of refeed. Actually, no, that was maybe last week or the week before. So I was during the refeed. It wasn't during the fast. I was hitting that number at all. I wouldn't have done that. They would have probably had my.
We would have kicked you out.
But yeah, that was during the refeed. So, but yeah, I hit 17,000 and some change actually, which is probably more steps than I had in one day than again some weeks in the past. I mean, I remember most of my averages are around three, maybe 4,000 steps a day. Because again, my job is sedentary. I'm, on a watchmaker's bench like this, hunched over all day. So I barely ever move, barely ever take any steps. So this has been a great experience.
Yeah, and it seems like you made some friends here too.
Everybody here is super nice, from the staff to everybody here. We're all essentially here for the same reason. We want to not just improve our current life situation, but maybe extend it if possible. We talked about this briefly. My dad passed away at a young age. His dad passed away at a young age. So many members of my family, uncles, aunts, etc., pass away at a young age, and it's like I don't want that for me. If I can avoid it, if there's something within my control that I can do to avoid that, I'm going to do that. And so I think this was a step in the right direction. I know this was a step in the right direction, and I can't wait to keep going, and I can't wait to continue on this path.
Yeah, and you've talked about how your mom would cook rice with an inch of oil in
Yeah.
it. And coming back home, do you feel like you feel equipped to stay
Well,
this?
thankfully, this is also when I was growing up, and even though she does still cook like that, it's funny. She was like, "Oh, you're coming home," and I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "What do you want me to make you?" I was like, "No, nothing. Don't worry about it." So thankfully, I live alone, and I'm able to prepare my own foods and whatnot. I'm gonna probably either respectfully ask them to kind of, hey, this is how I would like it. If you don't want to, I will gladly bring my own. And if that doesn't work, and if I start to I'll just bring my own stuff. I'm not too stressed about it. I don't expect everyone to follow my lead. I don't expect anyone actually to say, "Oh, okay, cool, we're going to do this too," because I mean, the world in general is not compliant with anybody, let alone who am I? So I know this is the right decision for me. It might not be the right decision for everyone, but and I'm going to live with that. And I'm going to just keep going. This is my path. This is my journey. And I'm gonna travel that journey. And if anybody wants to join me, let's do it. And if they don't, God bless them too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you said that pizza doesn't interest you anymore?
I don't know if it doesn't interest me anymore, but I do know that I remember how I felt while eating it. I mean, you eat some pizza, especially Detroit style pizza, which is that pan deep dish, essentially caked in oil, which is so good. But it's like every time I eat pizza and then I go back to work, I'm just so lethargic afterwards. Like, you can't eat pizza and go back to doing what you wanted to do earlier that day, and it's just like, supposedly food is supposed to energize you. Eating this way, you feel that way. Eating that way, it absolutely does not. And you, again, immediately feel there's so many other issues, constipation, other than bloating, and, just lethargy, etc. It's just so many things that it comes with. So it doesn't pique my interest. I don't think that I mean, like I said, if I ever eat pizza again, it's definitely not going to be as often as I once did. I'm not going to, and then pizza's not the only weakness that I have, but yeah, it's definitely a trigger for me, the smell of pizza, etc. Or the sight of it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that it's going to be a lot less pizza. There was one of the chefs here did a pizza demo.
Mm-hmm.
So I can make my own doughs and stuff like that with cauliflower, etc., doing all that stuff. And I can make my own sauces. I can either omit the cheese or get some fake vegan cheese.
Yeah.
And then figure stuff out like that. Or I could do certain modified things. But long story short, I'm not going to go into the caked with oil, fried deep dish pizzas like I once did. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you say you feel like a kid again.
I do. So my energy levels, my like you can see right now, I'm kind of like moving back and forth. I feel like a kid again. Like I have the energy of like when I used to just run around. You see a tree and you want to climb it, and you just do. Like I want to climb trees. I want to. Like the other day, I was able to go to the redwoods.
Oh, wait, Armstrong Woods?
Yeah. Well, yeah, not the redwoods, but yeah, Armstrong. And I saw all that stuff there. We went for a nice hike, my friend and I, Mitch, and he came to visit me. Actually, he lives in Oakland, and it was so much fun. And we were just taking in the scenery, just the nature, the fresh air, etc. It's a beautiful place to be. Just knowing how old those trees are, and like if these trees can talk, like if they can tell a story. How many people visited them? How many people, fell in love by the tree or took a picture by, it's just so many cool things to just kind of experience. 1,400 years, you think about that and you realize our time is limited, but nature is infinite, God is infinite, it's a beautiful thing, so, yeah.
And I think that goes back to what's happening here at True North, where we remove everything that's man-made and unnatural, and we just let the body and nature do its thing.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. Yeah, just get out the way and let nature heal itself.
Yeah. So you say your digestion got better. You obviously
substantially.
Substantially. Okay.
Yeah.
What other health benefits did you get? And any negative health stuff? Did any of that happen?
No, not that I know of. Not yet.
Okay. We'll check in with you later.
No, nothing negative that I can think of. I didn't lose hair or anything like that. Like he said that it does tend to happen to some people. Positive things that did happen, again, so essentially hypertension, blood pressure, etc.
What are the numbers now-ish?
I had a number the other day. It was like 111 over 79 or something like that. 111? Like, how do you, So that's not. I've had my glucose checked, so I'm like, obviously they check my A1C in a few months, but I have my glucose checked regularly, even after eating large, like not fasting blood sugar. I was getting like 120s, which is amazing. That's like what I used to get after a fasted, like blood sugar, testing.
And what would it typically be otherwise?
How about this? My intake here was over 200. So, and obviously that was also with some fasting. That was fasted.
That was fasted, over 200.
Over 200. So, yeah. It was like, I forget what the actual number was, but I think it was like maybe even mid, like 240 something. I forget the exact number. Don't quote me on that. But I know it was over 200. So that's a gone issue. Dr. Strucker and I discussed it this morning. He's confident. I'm confident that the diabetes is gone. My next A1C reading will be well below 6.5. So great news. Cholesterol levels regulated to normal. I had my triglycerides at 900 when I got here. Just before getting here, they were at 900. That's some of the highest numbers that I've ever even heard. I had, again, I was talking about, like, I had arthritis in my ankle. Doesn't feel like I have it anymore. Gout in, like, some areas, especially my left knee. Riding a bike regularly, it's gone. Obviously gout is one of those things, maybe you have flare-ups and stuff, but I don't feel pain in my knee. So inflammation, gone. What more? Oh, I had like edema in my legs, etc. This one is like pretty much completely gone. This one's still a little bit dark, but it's substantially better than what it was. Like my leg looked purple before getting here.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I was suffering, but didn't realize how much I was suffering because I had lived that life day in, day out. And one of the biggest things that I realized was, slow weight loss is great because it, shows you progress here and there. But sometimes, at least in my battle, you get discouraged because, you can work your ass off, literally just work so hard, and lose 5, 10, 15 pounds. I mean, I know how hard people work to lose weight because I've done it. You know, like I've struggled with weight loss before. You know, my whole life. I'm still big. You know, but you don't feel the benefits right away. You know, here, just during the fast, I immediately felt everything. Like, again, within the first week of fasting, my energy levels went skyrocketed. After the, I guess, like ketosis started happening, my energy levels started skyrocketing. And I was running off of, in my mind, I knew there was like, this is not natural. This is maybe, I mean, I shouldn't say natural. This is not normal. This is a supernatural fuel that you've got going on right here. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool. So it's kind of like, if you give your car nasty fuel, it's not going to run right. Or if, you know, you have bad fuel injectors, it's not going to run right. But if you give your car good fuel, it's going to run very efficiently, very, you know, and if you have clean engine, clean all that, I just feel clean, you know, like I feel clean, you know, I sweat and I don't stink anymore, you know, like, whereas if I would sweat even a little bit, I peel an orange and start sweating, you know, just from the peeling an orange, you know, it's a little joke I say about peeling an orange. Anyways, I would stink like profusely, like, oh my God, I can smell myself how bad I smell, but my sweat doesn't smell right now, and so I know that my internals have also pretty much, if not completely, severely detoxed. So those are just a few of the many benefits that I know I've gone through, just a few. Yeah.
That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you're just a living testimony to this.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I want to, the staff here, super nice. Everybody's been helpful. I can't thank everybody enough for the opportunity. I can't thank my family enough for helping me with things at home while I've been out here, especially my sister Janice and my mom. They've been a blessing, you know, because 2 months gone, no word, no nothing. Like, it's hard. And I can tell you, my mom, she doesn't like dogs, but she's been taking care of my dogs for 2 months, you know? It's a beautiful thing, so, yeah.
And when they see you in person again,
Yeah.
they're going to flip out.
Exactly.
Like, oh boy. I've heard this before. Patients will come home and the dog doesn't recognize them. Literally, the dog stands there at the door and the dog's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I can't, I have 2 dogs, Layla and Najib, Jeeves for short, and I wouldn't be so heartbroken if Jeeves didn't recognize me, but if Layla didn't recognize me, I might be upset. I had her first.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them are rescues, but I had her first. Yeah.
Oh man, I think it's that you even say yourself, you have a new smell, you have a new body.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. My scent is different.
Yeah.
Man, they're gonna be like, who's this guy?
Oh, I know, it's Jay. They're gonna flip out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm blessed. You know, I just can't wait. I can't wait to get home. I can't wait. It's weird. I actually miss work.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, I miss working on watches. Yeah, I miss working on watches. But yeah, it's great. I'm very, very optimistic about literally everything in life. I've met, aside from the staff here, which I've said, I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. But all the people and the friends that I've made while being here, also, they're just great. You know, so many nice, well-to-do people. You know, they just mean well. I really haven't met a grump since being here.
You haven't met me.
Yeah, I really haven't. You know, like, everybody here has been super nice. Yeah, great place to be. Great group. Maybe it's the whole Goldhammer, self-selected, highly motivated individual, right? So everybody that comes here came here on their own fruition, as opposed to being forced to be here by some kind of doctor or whatever. Actually, most doctors wouldn't even recommend this place. I should say most modern doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Jay. We are honestly, hopefully, I speak on behalf of everyone by saying we're so blessed to have you here.
Thank you.
You know, your optimism, your energy, it's just never change, okay? You can change your body, but never change your mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, remember last time? You're a winner, okay?
Yes, you too.